Clap it in.
Episode 2 of...
How exciting.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
It's episode 2. We're back. We got approved.
Yes.
Season 1 didn't go that well, like Seinfeld. A lot of kinks.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that our first episode wasn't
I mean, it was
amazing?
highly... Yeah, it beat out a lot of shows in the ratings.
Of course it did. You know how many people didn't know
But
that documentary?
But it was sweeps week. And so we were up against a lot of competition. People were bringing out their heavy hitters.
FYI, now that we've done that documentary, all of a sudden Rocky's on Netflix. All the Rockies are on Netflix.
We have helped.
We started. You're welcome, Stallone.
Yeah, we've
You're
helped
welcome.
Stallone's career a lot. I do.
I don't even know where I'm looking.
Fun fact: this is kind of a sad, not sad, but not the coolest thing to do. But me and my parents every day.
Okay.
From their local paper, they send me this word scramble, and all three of us do it.
Okay.
The clue, and then you have to do the words, and they give you certain letters, and you have to solve a puzzle.
Okay.
Puzzle on Sundays about Rocky. Pretty weird timing. Pretty odd.
But now, by the way, you're going to win this thing this week with your parents.
Oh, it's not a competition. It's just
what?
It's just you do it.
Hold on, I'm just helping them. Send you something.
I'm just helping them stay young, keep their brains fresh.
Oh, I thought you compete.
No, it's not Wordle, which my mom pitches me on Wordle.
My brothers do that all day.
My mom pitches me on Wordle like 3 times a week, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. She's like, no, you'd like it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right.
My little brother Bobby sends his time.
And she tells me.
Takes a screenshot.
She'll be like, well, here's what I did to the first word. I'm like, I don't play it, so I don't care. She's like, the second word, I guess. And I'm like, it's like when someone tells you how their golf went. They're like,
right.
First hole over the, yeah. I don't
get it.
I feel like Ari Shaffir. I don't care. I don't do.
You don't play golf?
I don't do.
Do you really not play golf? You would be a good golfer.
I would be, actually, because I have a sports background, but no, I'm not a golfer.
Yeah.
I kind of need money to do that. I play street golf.
You're not right. Look at this. Jumble.
It's, very similar to that.
Man.
It's not that one, but yeah, it's very similar.
First of all, I'm dyslexic, so I'm good at these things, but also...
What's word 1? Can you get it?
No.
It's douse. Boom.
Douse.
Hungry. Last word. You got it.
Do it.
If you do it enough, you start to see it.
Instead of idiot. I literally looked at it.
Do it.
I looked at it as do it, and then I was like, idiot. Oh, yeah, that is it. That is it.
Ditto,
It's ditto.
You dumbass.
Oh, I want it, idiot.
It's not idiot. Not another eye.
Ditto. Yeah.
Not another eye.
Oh my God, ditto.
I might have to start sending this to you just to improve your English.
By the way, I'm like dyslexic and I get everything wrong, so don't do that.
You would see these letters.
This just made me sweat.
REDOOW, and you'd say Wooder.
And I get it right.
Philadelphia
ding, ding, ding.
Wooder. How is it not a
Ding,
Philadelphia Wooder company, like a Wooder bottle?
We have water ice.
Wooder ice? What's that mean?
Water ice. Italian ices.
But is there flavor?
There's a million of them. There's watermelon. There's
watermelon. Oh, Philadelphia. What a place.
Is this the answers right here?
Motown Philly. Answers? I think Rob's going to get real into this.
Rob, yeah, you're going
to. I used to do these when I was a kid.
If you'd like to join in with my family, I'll loop
so
you.
both of you
nothing
seem
more.
Extremely smart. Like if this happened in my family, they'd be like, they put me and Billy on one side and be like, all right, all of us against them, because it would be two retards, if you will.
Why? They would just want to see you guys.
No, they know how bad we are.
You can't say it just because you put a weird accent on it.
Yeah, I know.
She's Galifianakising it from The Hangover, made famous or infamous.
Yes, but
where's Galifianakis? He lost all that weight and he disappeared.
Literally, yeah.
And figuratively, he's gone. I haven't seen him since. I act like I see him all the time, but since Brody's memorial, he disappeared. He's gone into hiding.
I have not.
Maybe he's still mourning.
I don't think he lives out here.
He's in North Carolina,
like on a farm, right, or some weird shit.
He lives on Chappelle's farm.
Oh, okay.
It's just a comics utopia.
What if he started a comedy club on his farm and then competed
across the street?
North Carolina versus Ohio. Where I forget Yellow Springs, right?
Yes. Ohio. I don't know where in North, because Galifianakis is from North Carolina.
Okay.
He lost the weight, and then that can hurt your career in comedy. Got to stay fat.
What? Oh, yeah. It's true. They do say that.
Well, and like he has a podcast.
I think is he on Big Mouth? Big Mouth's a big deal.
Looks like he's doing a lot of voice acting.
Bob's, yeah, I see that. They're like,
so
listen,
that's why he's like, I'll stay in North Carolina. I'll send it in.
No one wants to look at you thin, so let's just hear your voice.
You're disgusting, Fan.
we'll make a little fat.
Have you ever seen someone though who's lost a lot of weight and you're like, they look better? They look better fat.
A million times over.
You've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. The face often looks weird.
The face usually
because it's been stretched too much. It's hard to go back to original formatting.
It takes the joy out of their face.
Once the fat's gone.
Once you lose the eating, you're like, that's why you get gaunt looking. You're like, oh, this is boring. I miss sugar.
I hate plain chicken. And people are like, oh, you look great. I'm like, I look that good. I look that good. Speaking of going from fat to thinner, is this week
I knew you were going to bring that up. The minute,
how could I not?
Because your only obsession.
I was a fat kid. I'm allowed to do it. It's my N-word. You're allowed to talk about weight if you struggled with it at one point in your life. By
the way, I think everyone has.
No.
Really?
When did you? You were like this your whole life.
No.
Show me the footage.
I can. And
what were you, like a pound overweight?
No, I want to say 50.
50?
Almost 50.
As a kid?
What happened was...
Is that when you quit smoking when you were 9?
No, this is what... I was still smoking, but...
When did you start smoking, for the record?
When I was 9.
I was right.
So mean. However,
how do you start at 9, by the way? Who got you into it? Siblings?
Do I really have to tell this story?
Just make it crisp.
Because we're talking about the documentary.
Someone just said you want a cigarette, and you're like, yeah, great.
No, we had a competition. We're very competitive where I come from. Do we do Wordle? No.
The annual Philly street smoking competition? You're like, no, I don't want to miss out.
Who can steal the most out of a supermarket?
Oh, I remember this story.
Yes. So we did.
And you were so stressed out you were smoking?
No, I stole cigarettes.
So
I put cartons of cigarettes. I thought they were expensive, and I was like, I win.
Oh, it's by price?
I thought it was.
Somebody have a fucking calculator at the end?
Well, I'll tell you what happened.
Did Leslie Jones host this? Supermarket sweep? Supermarket creeps.
Supermarket thieves. Supermarket thieves is what it's called.
You could do that as well. Starring the Kerrigan family as children.
I'll tell you this. The one kid...
Was someone hosting it? They're like, oh, here goes Eleanor, aisle 6.
I thought my brother Charlie was going to win for sure.
Why? He's known for sticky fingers?
No, he's just good at it. He's just really good at it. Not a natural thief. He just is like he doesn't get nervous. You know what I mean? Like, whereas my brother Billy, forget the worst. The worst.
What
Gets caught every time, has
arrested?
no poker face. No, but the guy who won, I'm walking out. I got cartons of cigarettes around me, right? And I'm like, I'm winning this competition. I am so excited that I'm winning this competition. And then a really good friend of ours named Nikki came running out with an entire cart filled, and I mean, it had a mountain. Like, it was.
This is like
overflowing cart.
This is foreshadowing of present day LA. I've seen a lot of either walkouts or runouts of stores, and they just kind of calmly walk next to you.
He did not calmly. He ran like
they're not allowed to do anything now.
Now it's crazy. Because, by the way, back then, they didn't have, I'm almost dead. They didn't have, like, the wheels where it stops if you go past.
Yeah.
Or they have bars. In Philly, they have bars now. Because you can't really run out.
What do you mean bars?
Or they used to have
at
bars.
The front?
Yeah, they used to have, like, little poles that you couldn't, like, they put them close together. So, like, you couldn't even take the.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Out of the lot.
You couldn't even take it to your car.
So the lot was surrounded by like the Berlin Wall, and you'd have to throw it up over, or you'd have to get.
If I remember correctly, yeah. Okay, so we had to go because when he ran out, Yeah, we went down the lake, so he came out this. It's going to sound.
So say
weird.
you had stolen,
and this
fruit.
was in a wealthy area.
If you had stolen fruit, you would have gone down a different path. You wouldn't have started smoking. You would have eaten fruit.
Well, I stole the cigarettes, so maybe.
So you're like, I might as well smoke them because I got them.
Because I remember everybody throwing their stuff in a pile, and Nicky, by the time he got down the lakes, which was probably like almost a mile away, maybe maybe half a mile from there. So
you had to walk half a mile with all this shit.
Run. We were running. They were chasing us. They did not stop chasing us.
This is like the beginning.
He's doing life in prison, by the way.
Whoa, that's shocking. You figure the winner of this competition
Nick.
would have won the game of life.
Nay.
Well, that's
Nay.
you guys won then.
Kind of.
The long win.
When we threw everything in the pile.
Does he listen to this show in prison?
I hope so.
Can you listen to podcasts?
That'd
Probably
be
some
great.
prisons.
Nikki Slick, what's up?
Nikki Six?
Slick. How dare you?
I'm assuming that's not. I hope that's not a real last name. I don't need anyone coming for me.
Oh, no, it's a nickname.
Okay.
And if you didn't know him back then, you wouldn't know that.
Did anyone steal a glazed ham?
I don't think he stole stuff. It was like...
What if you stole a person?
Food.
You
It
can't
was like-
value a person. That would win.
It was... I just remember putting my cigarettes in and everybody was like, what are we going to do with those?
What
And
do you
then
mean?
we just kept them there, and then we just started smoking them. Like, we didn't know. I just was going for pride. Nobody smoked at that point, really.
So you ruined a lot of lives.
You know what?
That day.
That is
Everyone else
so
was like,
mean.
I stole Slim Fast
maybe-
and stuff that'll help.
Maybe Frankie was already small. I don't remember.
I stole books.
But Frankie did teach me how to inhale.
What is he, Bill Clinton?
Bill didn't inhale. Frankie taught.
He says he didn't, but we all know.
All right, so let's get back to...
Let's get on track,
Get on
Eleanor.
track.
Before you started smoking as a young child, ruined your life. Aren't you smoking now? Aren't you back?
No, that's
I've
what we
heard
were talking
rumors.
about.
I've heard
So,
rumors.
so I was, no, I had a cigarette. Well, I have them like once every like 4 months. And my brother Billy was like, I'm so disappointed
That's
in you.
who called
I'm like,
me.
what?
Billy called me.
Ugh, whatever.
He told me I needed to do an intervention.
Anyway.
Billy,
So-
I'm working on it.
I played sports, right?
Yeah.
My whole life.
Swimmer.
Heavy.
Same.
Swimmer, football.
I was a swimmer as well.
And all the guys used to say to me, are you ever going to be a girl? And I was like, yeah. So I was like, I am a girl.
Yeah, you're
and
like,
then I
currently.
tackle them and be like, I don't understand why they don't like me. I'm wearing a jock strap. This is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? I was such a tomboy. So I quit sports for a year and I gained 50 pounds. That's what we were talking about. Weight.
Wow.
So it was awful.
See, I did sports like 50 pounds overweight. I beat
That's
you to
impressive.
it. Yeah. And I was good.
And you were swimming, but swimmers have a lot of body fat. So
As I once said
if you
on-
were only a swimmer, did you do other stuff?
Well, the problem in swimming for me was the buoyancy. It like helped me. But I was good. I was a good swimmer. But it was a sport where you had to wear very little clothing.
I didn't have any buoyancy.
So it was very humiliating
Yes.
as a young child.
Did you do Speedo?
Speedo, titties out,
Yeah,
just
nice.
real. Yeah, not good.
Nice.
My parents will get some revenge, I think. As they get senile, I'm going to dress them up in some weird outfits. Like,
And put them in the pool.
Yeah, how do you like it?
Yeah.
Compete. Now compete against
Yeah,
your
let's
peers.
see what happens.
No, I said on the Honeydew a long time ago that I was fat athletic.
Fat.
It's hard to say.
It is. Because
But I
there's
had-
Fabletics out there.
What's
That's a
that?
clothing brand, I think.
Fabletic?
I believe so.
Is that a Philly thing?
No, I think it's Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson.
I think so. Fabletics, something like that.
I dated her once.
Fatletics is good. You
Yeah.
should do Fatletics, which is
That's
like
my
a
gym
a
brand.
slimming
Tights?
bodysuits, like things like that. I don't know, like they always wear the leggings. So
Fabletics is Kevin Hart.
I'm so sorry. I knew it was somebody. What is Kate Hudson's? Because she does have a clothing.
Is that for
something.
for smaller men? Or
Why are you whispering
just in
it,
case he's listening.
Kevin?
Kevin, you
Kevin,
out there?
do you make these for little people?
Kate Hudson has a line under Fabletics, I believe.
Oh, okay. I was right because she has like the girl workout stuff, maybe, and Kevin has the
Yeah.
boy, or
I think Kevin
Not
Hart
the
and
man, the
his wife
boys?
just own it.
okay, I
Like
see.
they just started the company. But
That
Kate
makes-
Hudson is the face of it.
Got it. That makes perfect sense.
Never
So
heard
I
of
was
it.
kind of right.
I'm not in the know.
I was
didn't-
kinda right.
Didn't smoke at 9, and I don't know what Fabletics are.
Well, I can't unscramble words, so
Yeah,
pick and choose your battles.
Well, your words are already scrambled. That's why you can't re-scramble them. So this week, we watched Becoming Ric Flair on Peacock, and I believe WWE was they produced.
Woo!
Because it was very WWE centric.
100%.
If you didn't notice,
No, I
'Cause
did.
Ric Flair, the most of his career was not in the WWE,
Right.
but they really focused on that aspect.
No, like I
Gotta
love
get my notes.
Ric Flair, and if I
Do
said
you find him handsome?
no,
Yeah, he's not a good-looking guy, and all he talks
And
about
I
is
knew
how
you were
many
gonna
chicks
talk
he
about-
fucks.
oh yeah, I know. Well, because that's
But it's the fame.
overcompensating.
It's the fame, though.
100%. The fame.
I
The
want to know
boas.
what would he have boned.
Look at that.
What would he have boned? Now he looks terrible.
But look at that hair. Hey, come on, man. We're
Did you ever
not
see
all
the?
gonna
Did you ever see
age
the
well.
movie Chevy Chase, Demi Moore? Yeah, I think Demi Moore, Dan Aykroyd. Chevy Chase is like speeding through like some podunk town. He gets a ticket, and he gets like locked in Dan Aykroyd's like house. But Ric Flair now looks like Dan Aykroyd in that movie. Like his face is falling
I
apart.
don't think I know what your movie you're talking about. And I'm pretty.
What's it called? I can't think of it.
Yeah,
It's John Candy's in it as a woman.
Oh no.
I think he plays a man and a
Nothing
woman.
But Trouble.
Nothing but trouble.
Awful
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, terrible.
Awful.
I don't think I've
terrible
ever
movie.
seen it.
Oh, it's terrible.
If I did, I just blocked it out.
Ric Flair's in it. So it opens up with Ric Flair's in a room. I'm assuming in his house, but I don't know. But it's a big room.
Woo!
He's
His
wearing
woos are a little shortened.
his new thing is he wears a lot of bling, a lot of necklaces.
Is this?
Yeah, that's Ric Flair.
This is Rick doesn't look that good right now.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm just kidding.
He has a ton of necklaces these days.
Ton of necklaces, Mr. Teeing it.
He's terrible sun damage on his head.
No, you can see that. Like that.
That's also
to
from a lot of
me-
the blading those guys do. Is they fuck up their forehead skin.
because they cut themselves.
The razor blading in the matches.
Look how bloody.
Yeah, just look at that.
I'll never forget
If
when
he doesn't have skin cancer, who's gonna get it?
me. I have skin cancer.
But look at that forehead. Look at that head.
Holy shit.
Is that
all from cutting, you think? Or
is that leather?
no, those are leather. That's from tanning. That's literally tanning.
But
'Cause
he's still
spotty.
tan, still
Drinking, still spotty.
still bleaching the hair. But the
Ooh.
comb over in the back is beautiful because it's very thin. But it's really arranged in a way that you can. It's like, no, it's all there. And it's like, is it all there?
I can say this because I know my brother Jimmy won't ever listen to this, but
How
Jimmy
dare you?
I have two brothers that went bald, right? The rest of them kept their hair.
The rest of them keep it feathered.
Pretty much. But Jimmy lost it here, but still blow dries and feathers the back.
Which is important.
I am not kidding. And we love it. Like me and his daughter joke about it all the time that daddy's upstairs blow drying
The back of his hair.
His hairs.
This
See, this is disgusting to me. And when I saw that firsthand with Selena Majors, that scared the shite out of me.
what you're showing here is Rick did he's retired like 18 times. This documentary made it seem like he retired once.
100%.
And it was a big happy story.
I was like, wait a minute.
In real life, he wrestled. He just did a match. He's 73 years old.
73.
He blacked out a lot during the match. And that's from it. And he did not. You see the Undertaker right behind him with Mick Foley.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Might be even Bret Hart next to him. Yeah, I didn't do that well.
Can't be Bret Hart. When was this?
What do you mean? He's alive.
This was. Oh, I messed it up.
Owen
God
Hart.
damn it.
Is his brother
Yes.
is dead.
My
Yeah, the
fault.
ghost. If you look closely, you see
My
Owen Hart
fault.
flying over them. Ric Flair also likes to wear loafers or dress shoes, no socks.
That to me
It's an aggressive look.
is the sexiest part about him.
You like that?
You know I love that. That's
I know
a
you
East
like
Coast.
that. I
I'm
know you-
sorry.
How do I know you like
That's
that?
it because you know I like gangsters.
What
and
about
that's
people
a
who-
gangster look that he's going for?
What are people who wear snow boots with no socks in the winter?
That's disgusting. And those people should be executed on the hill they're
What
skiing
if the
on.
guy wears that look, but they take it off and they have terrible athlete's foot that's visible?
I'll get some stuff for them.
Some
I'll get
tough
some
acting Tinactin.
tough acting Tinactin.
Maybe a show
or
sponsor, if we're lucky.
can we get tough acting Tinactin?
We'll get him on the phone.
Rick's doing 8 million commercials now. Maybe he's doing that.
Or-
Woo! He's doing like low budget commercials.
He
Some of them
is.
are.
Well,
It's like-
Matt, that's my thing. Well, we can get into that later, but how do they survive? It's
Wrestlers?
not. People look at wrestling like it's so glorified and they make so much money.
Well, there's no
And if you're not a
union.
top dog, you don't make shit.
Well, and there's no union, so they have like no.
Yeah.
When the documentary didn't deal with this, they made him kind of seem like a saint.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
had a
yeah,
lot of bad business dealings. I think he's been bankrupt like 2-3 times.
Well, he doesn't pay his taxes.
He had a couple like real estate deals that he just wouldn't pay people, and he like ruined their lives, and he would like sue them.
Oh,
Yeah, he left a lot of people pretty fucked.
He seems like a good guy.
He's selling Viagra, it says. Which is surprising. He would
look
admit.
at this. Woo! He shows
He's
his
like,
dick.
look at this before. Soft.
What are we going to
Let
do?
me pop this pill. Woo! Hard as a rock. He's really
get on this.
He's holding on to the fame a little hard.
I mean, Mount Everett, what is... Oh, wow, that's funny.
Oh, so he's doing dick pill tweets.
Woo!
Promoted tweets.
Some of those woos seem forced, I got to be honest.
His
during
lungs are probably half. I mean, he almost died in 2017. I think he's had health problems since.
He's almost died like
50 times.
50 times. He is like a 9 live cat.
Yeah,
here.
we'll start with him. It's basically like a Forrest Gump. But,
yeah.
By the way, he's being interviewed by this guy. I don't know if he's still at ESPN. He was. I think he was actually a Phillies reporter. Started Tom Lunardi, I believe his name is. So he's interviewing him.
Okay.
Mainly off camera. They showed him a few times, and he's like, "Who is Ric Flair?"
Versus.
By the way, the whole premise,
Richard
big
Flair.
premise of this is that, and I can't stand. I've never liked
Hate that.
They're like, you were born Richard Flair. Now you're Ric Flair, and they make it seem like those are two completely different people.
Right.
It's the same guy.
What was his... Exactly. It's the same guy with just
But
a little bit more flair.
Magic Johnson used to do this. And he'd be like, that's Irvin.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is Magic.
Yeah.
Magic's got the eighth.
As a Celtics fan, we
Irvin,
both
I'm like,
don't like that.
It would drive me crazy. It's the
Magic
same
got
guy.
AIDS, Irving does not.
No, he doesn't say that, but it's
Oh,
insane
sorry.
that you differentiate. You're the
No,
same
I
guy.
hear ya.
It's like a
It's-
comic being like, that's me on stage. When I walk off stage, I'm a completely different guy.
A lot of bad comics do that.
Well, you
Not that
a bad
one.
comic, but you know somebody who famously said that was the character.
It's the character. But that's the problem with these
Where
characters.
does Dice stop and Andrew begin?
That's true.
Next.
But that's a real thing. Like if he was talking about, but to me, like Ric Flair, right, does a character for wrestling.
Yes, it's a gimmick.
So it's a gimmick, right? Same thing with
But
Dice.
if
He
you do a
does-
gimmick long
but
enough,
then what
you
happens?
become
You
the gimmick.
merge.
Yes.
Yep. You wind up merging.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have it's a merger and acquisition. You bring in lawyers.
You don't pay the taxes on it
They
if
kept
you're
being
Ric
like,
Flair.
who's Richard Flair? He'd be like, I don't know anymore.
I forget his
Like,
real name. What was it? George something.
So he was
I wrote it
born.
down
I got
somewhere.
it. He was born. Let's see.
Yeah, my
Fred
handwriting.
Phillips, I believe.
Fred.
Born Fred Phillips. He was adopted.
That's so funny.
He was adopted.
But how about how creepy was it that in the adoption, the people that adopted, they were selling babies?
Yeah, he was. But that was weird because he alleges
He's a black market.
He
baby.
alleges he was a black market baby, which sounds like a good movie, $1 Million Baby
great.
sequel. But there was no proof of that. He's just like, yeah, I was stolen out of the orphanage, but that's all they said.
Well,
And
no,
they showed a newspaper clipping.
Well, they said like this was happening, but he said his parents, who were very nice, which is also pretty amazing that he got good people because sometimes you do get.
They were super bright,
crazies.
and he said he didn't, unfortunately, get those genes.
Right, but they tried to instill it, just didn't
Yeah.
work. But
Yeah.
like he said, he didn't think they would know that they were doing that.
Yeah,
out
he
of
said
that
he said they were
agency.
so, like,
he didn't
conservative.
claim it. He just said this was a thing they said happened.
He said he got stolen out of the orphanage. My dad was actually adopted, so I related to some of that.
And did your dad
Same time. My dad and Ric Flair are about the
Wow.
same age.
He
My
was
dad is actually
a black market?
Richard Flair.
You took his name.
He said, "Who's Ric Flair?" And he said, "Have you noticed does he have a lisp or a speech impediment?"
It's from a lot of bumps,
Because he's like,
a plane crash.
he's the wildest son of a bitch who ever lived.
Oh.
Which is a bold statement. There's been a lot of wild son of a bitches who have lived.
And look at this shit. Yeah, he's just like people are like, oh, he's handsome, he's this, you know, the nature boy, he's blah blah blah, he's built, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I mean, I get the aura, I get that he
Yeah,
can
he's
come
famous.
in, the confidence.
Yeah, he's famous.
And,
And he's charismatic.
extremely, but he's right. Like confidence is everything. I mean, I know everybody says that,
He
but
says
it's
he
like
can talk the game. He's like, I've still
A
got
person-
some Slick Rick in me.
that's right.
By the way, he stole Slick Rick from the rapper Slick Rick. Let's not. Well, he might have been before
Rick is
Slick
Rick
Rick. though.
James called himself Slick Rick
No, but
too.
Slick
so
Rick-
a lot of Slick Rick is a thing.
It's a thing.
Pretty much.
Slick Rick
I mean,
Ingram.
Slick Rick is
He opens for Chris Rock. Now that he's in the
Now that Chris
urban
Rock,
community, they make him go by
they made
Slick
him
Rick.
Slick Rick.
He has to slick his hair back.
I'm gonna tell them they should make him slick his hair back this time. Next, you see him on tour and he's got like a little squiggy curl.
That'd be pretty sweet.
But that's what I'm saying. Like somebody like him, when he kept talking about confidence, somebody like that with that big of a character, that big of a persona, if you lose your confidence, oh my god!
They kept talking about him.
Yeah, and apparently he did.
Well, he sounds like an anxiety-ridden dude.
Sure,
and the Ric Flair is kind of a overcompensation.
And he self-medicates. Like he takes pills.
Just because he drinks from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. and his the lady who claimed his wife, they're no longer together. The lady Wendy, who's in there throughout.
Right. They just broke up.
But they weren't
right?
married. They weren't legally, but they said they were husband and wife. They had a ceremony. They weren't. I checked
Got it.
I looked into I didn't, but I saw that.
Wait.
But she said he drank 40 vodkas a day. It's a lot of money.
No, you can do jugs.
Jugs? What's he going to Costco?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like fucking cheap.
He was drinking them off her jugs.
Hi-oh! Hi-oh, she squirts vodka. But those big ass jugs, one of my best friends, his dad was an alcoholic, and those giant ones with the handles, and I never heard the name of it. It was just generic.
We used to call where I'm from, they call them handles because of the handle. A handle of vodka.
Really?
You've never heard that?
Yeah.
Well,
say it again. A handle of vodka?
Yeah, handle.
Oh.
I don't know.
A fifth?
You're a waitress. You don't know these terminologies?
No. Can you imagine
if I ordered a handle?
Give me a handle of vodka.
Ric Flair would.
How much would we charge for that at the Comedy Store?
$8,000.
Handle of vodka.
The old manager would, if you bought a bottle of tequila, they charge it per shot. What they charge for a shot, so it's seriously like $500.
Which manager is this?
Bro, Dean Gelber.
Do you think they don't
Former
charge?
manager.
Do you know that it's $14 a shot now?
So that'd be an expensive bottle. How many shots are in a bottle? This is an SAT question.
I failed my SATs.
I failed my liquor SATs. Passed the regular. Did you notice Ric Flair had a half sibling, and they're like, "Do you want to meet the guy?"
Oh yeah.
And
He's
like, "Why would I want to meet him? Why?"
Yeah, why would I want to know what I could have been
if
I didn't drink or I didn't?
It's like, well, it's your biological. And he's like, and his daughter's like, yeah, he thinks of himself as an only child.
Right.
And he's like, what do I have to talk about with the guy?
A narcissist.
And he's like, he just wants to meet me because of who I am. And he's like, no, you're his sibling that he didn't know about. And he's like, I'm not meeting him. He refused.
What is the? Yeah, he did refuse. What is the answer there? 17 shots?
17 1.5 ounce shots.
Ooh.
How many shots?
Unless you have a heavy pour, which the Comedy Store is known for a heavy pour.
They're known for a Singapore pour.
How dare you pick on hard?
Actually, a Thailand.
Our bartenders are Thai.
Well,
not all of them.
Ric Flair, he was behind you in life. He started drinking regularly at 15 years old.
You know what?
A couple years
when
later.
I heard that, I was like,
you're like, what a loser.
That is late. No.
Yeah. You're like, what's he waiting for? Everyone starts at 8.
But I'll tell you this, when I was 15, I could walk into a bar, or 14 rather. I've walked into a few little places.
Yeah, definitely little places. They're set up with children's furniture.
Liquor places, like they sold liquor, and I'd walk in there. They'd be usually Asian owned, and because I was tall, they sold it to me. I swear for God, I've been old since I'm a kid.
That's racist to bring up, Eleanor.
Against me or them? Because they sold it to me. No questions asked.
Asians are short people.
No.
And that's racist.
Oh, I wasn't thinking that, but
be
I
on this podcast with this sort of talk.
I was the Yao Ming.
That is one of your old bits.
I forget how it goes. Is this where you would consider him flat? With the RF on his cock there?
Consider him what? Flat?
Fat.
No, he was fat when he started. He was like 300 pounds when he got out of college football.
Right. When the guy was making him do squats.
He looked kind of like...
See if you could do all these squats.
He looked kind of like Gomer Pyle from Full Metal Jacket. He had a shaved head. Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
there he is. Much bigger guy, a different guy.
By the way,
there you could the one on the
much sexier guy right there.
The one where he's flexing. He looks like Biff Tannen from Back to the Future.
Is sexier.
That is?
Yeah. And he's got that
pulling your trunks up right below your belly button.
He's got that rich, because you really can see what's in there.
Got no cock balls. looks like a woman.
That's a hell of a tuck, Rick.
What is that, Barbie?
Is that the first tuck rule? It is.
Look at that hair. I bet, by the way, he's like 23 there.
That's a rich kid hairstyle.
He
Like
looks
that's
50.
Because didn't they send him to private school?
They did because he was
that's a
acting out.
yuppie looking hairstyle.
He was acting out, got sent to a...
Would you buy real estate insurance from him?
From Ric Flair if he was
Wasn't it
wearing
insurance?
multiple chains like a scumbag.
Didn't he start selling
He said he
insurance
did-
when he looked like that?
Is he cross-eyed there? Yeah, he said he sold insurance for a little while.
He just don't know what camera to look at.
He's looking at 5 different cameras. Yeah, thicker guy, way thicker.
Wow. But if he didn't have that big build, it wouldn't have turned into that.
Look at that hair.
Look at those. Look at
Beautiful.
here's next.
Tiny
the
nips.
hair is beautiful.
Tiny nipples on Ric Flair there. I never noticed. Little dime size.
Tiny nipples. What if that was his name instead of Ric Flair?
Dime size nipples.
Size. Time size piece of shit.
When he was sent to not getting into that, maybe later.
No, yeah.
He was sent to private school because he was playing strip poker. He said misbehaving, running wild out there in the streets of Minnesota.
Well, sure. And his parents were like, "Listen, we don't know what to do."
But he said he was friends with like the children of titans of industry. Like I think he said like one of like some big dairy company. It was like
Campbell's Soup.
Yeah, like the Campbell Soup heir or heiress.
But that was when he went to when they sent him to the private school.
Yes, and he said he got a taste of that lifestyle, which was
Sure.
kind of the beginnings. And he's like, I just need to
You
find
see
out
those kids, you're
a
like,
way to get the money to live that lifestyle.
he's not hanging out with me, a typewriter repairman's kid.
No, he found the Campbell Soup heir or heiress.
Heiress. Yeah, I don't know.
Campbell. They call them soup on campus. By the way,
What's up, Soup?
If you're out there and you have a child, because I knew kids who were sent away to private school.
Wow,
and
impressive.
If you have children and you send them there, only going to make them worse.
Absolutely.
That's where all the drugs are. Because everyone there is money. So they're doing like high class drugs.
They're flying it in, if you will.
They're doing pills, coke, a lot. It's not good. And they're all together. It's like, hey, you all have problems. Why don't you go live on a campus together?
It's the craziest thing. How do people not know at this point? Like,
whoa.
What?
It's not nice. He fat shamed a bartender, it says in this article.
Oh.
He's a guy who used to be fat.
You know I don't like
until
that.
Vern Gagne, an old bald man, made me do all sorts of calisthenics. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are ahead. Where are we?
He was a bouncer. He played college football at University of Minnesota. I don't know did he get hurt? It didn't really say what happened.
It didn't.
Or he just wasn't good enough to go to the next level?
Did he get hurt?
I don't know. It didn't say really.
I don't remember.
But he was a bouncer at a bar.
He got hurt.
He saw a guy.
That's where
he's like, hey, that's
he
Ken
got distracted.
Ken Patera,
right?
Who I knew from the WWF.
I did not know.
He was a Olympic weightlifter, which is what you wanted to be as a child.
100%. I wanted to be a male bodybuilder, and no one would let me.
It seems like it's a hard goal to have.
Well, it's not fair because my little brother wanted to be a midget wrestler, and nobody got mad at him.
But as a kid, though, like you could accomplish that as a kid.
No, you can't.
As a kid,
you know you're not going to be a midget. You know.
But as a kid,
Bobby's
he could have competed.
6'1".
But then he wasn't. So I'm saying as a child, he could have got in and competed against grown men. Well, not grown men.
It's not fair to be told you can't have a sex change because we're poor. It's not nice.
He met this dude, Ken Patera, who was training to go from bodybuilding and wrestling. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, and then they just started living together. I was like, what? I was like, how'd that happen?
I've met a lot of people at bars, and I've never
two
met
dudes. It's like weird to be
that's
like,
what I mean. Like,
you're a good-looking guy.
Like,
You're a good-looking guy.
Together.
Let's move in.
What are you doing tonight?
I got a place right down the street. Do you not have a place to live?
Let me ask you this: do you have a singlet? Like
he's like, oh, I have my suitcases in the bar. I'm gonna move in tonight. So he moved in with Ken Patera.
They were obviously living on the street.
Who led him to Vern Gagne, which we don't have to get too into wrestling, but he owned AWA, which is a big organization. And I guess the training, he says, was like unreal cardio.
Intense.
There's Ken Patera. He once was he was arrested. I think he threw a huge rock through a McDonald's window.
Well, it's steroids. And I mean, back then,
is he cross-eyed? Are all these guys cross-eyed?
Jeff, all, like, looking slightly to the left.
They're all like, it is weird. Like when you start doing this, like I used to rip out the pages in the male bodybuilding and try to practice the poses.
Did you steal them?
No, somebody brought them to my dad's typewriter store.
Oh, by the way, I missed this. I put a note. He flunked out of college.
Yeah.
Pulled
but that's when he started selling the life insurance.
Pulled an Old School the movie, living at a frat house, not enrolled in college. And then he told his parents, and the guy, the interview was like, "Were they surprised?"
Were they
And he's
shocked?
like, no, not at all.
No.
They said they expected it.
They knew. They knew.
They paid for it just as a joke.
But I even like when he got like famous or whatever, and his parents, they show his parents.
They weren't
coming up. They
impressed.
were just like,
Well, they were like
Larry Flint's parents coming.
They
to
were
his
like low. They were like humble people, and he was trying to impress them with all the money, and his dad was just holding up like a
Like, "Look at
Nike,
this."
like a state of the art for then Nike shoe, and you could tell he was just like, "What the fuck is this? I don't care."
Okay, thanks.
He didn't care.
Yeah, they're normal people. They
Ric
don't-
Flair told Vern Gagne, I guess he was obsessed with Dusty Rhodes at the time.
Yeah,
He wanted to be called Ramblin' Ricky Rhodes.
Ramblin'
And Vern
Rose.
Gagne was like, "Your name's Richard Flair. That's cool as shit. Be Ric Flair." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Isn't Rambling Rose like a character in like a Southern, like a Tennessee Williams?
Yellow Rose.
Which
Ram-
one?
Yellow
Rambling
Ro-
Rose.
is-
Look up Rambling
No, what about
Rose.
it's Rhodes though?
Oh, but I was saying Rose. No, he said Rose.
He said Rose, but why? If you're
Rose or
obsessed with
Rose?
Dusty Rhodes,
Maybe he did
why
say
would you
Rose,
change
and
it to
I
Rose?
just went it to Rose.
Ramblin' Rose sounds like a woman in a nursing home.
It was like a crazy. It was a character in.
There's a movie, but
Yeah, there's a
it was from
movie.
afterwards. It's from 1991.
Oh, boo! All
It's
right.
based on Ric Flair's early.
Who
what
wrote it?
could have been?
What is it from? Why is it stuck in my head?
Andrew Dice
Just
Clay
kidding.
wrote it.
Yo, come on, man. I don't only read his
That was produced
writings.
by Rennie Harlan.
Ah, Rennie, one of my faves. A
Yes.
big Dice fan. I met him through Dice.
Who
Rennie.
is? Who isn't?
Well, I mean, he did Fort Fairlane. That's why.
Who hasn't?
And you didn't write it.
Ric Flair, fun fact, says he drove Andre the Giant for 2 years.
That is impressive.
Drove him around town.
Also, another excellent documentary,
Yeah.
the Andre.
About how Andre the Giant would have to take a bucket on the plane rides and shit into it behind a curtain because he couldn't fit in an airplane bathroom.
That scene
Flair
where
had
he's
to
flying,
carry the bucket in the car.
that scene where he's flying to, I think it's Japan. Yeah, probably Japan because that's a huge wrestling market. And he's sitting on the plane, and Andre is a zillion times bigger than
Well, his head
everyone.
would stick out of the top. They would open it up.
Had a little sunroof.
What a bad way to go through life.
Looking out the.
There's a reason he
There's
drank.
no window. He just looks out the skylight. Like,
He had a drinking problem, and at that size,
Oh, hell
they
yeah.
said he would drink crazy amounts. But Flair was keeping up with him as the driver. He's like, "Hey, you're my
which
driver."
is great because you want to be together with somebody. Misery loves company. But look how cute they are together.
Yeah,
I was obsessed with Andre when I was little.
he's a good-looking guy.
That's
the guy who deserved to get all the chicks.
Who's
Look
the
at
guy out that I love too? George.
George Lopez.
No, he had the green tongue. George the Animal Steel.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I once saw him at one of my college's
Scary.
basketball games. He was just sitting there, and I was like, "Are you George Animal Steel?" And he's like, "Yeah."
I used to look at that face. I used to just look at him and his hairy back. Oh.
You know who looks like that? My high school basketball coach, bald guy, that sort of body.
Really?
And I once went
that
in.
kind of sweater?
I once went in to talk to him, and he's buck naked, and he was shaving his whole body. And he's like, "Yeah, what's going on?" I was like, "I'll come back later. It's not that important."
I'll be never back.
Yeah,
Ever.
so he was cursed with the bald head and the extremely hairy body.
What when was he wrestling?
70s and 80s mainly.
I just remember being young and being. Did he have a Red Sox shirt on there? I thought
No, that
I
was his
saw
chest
that.
hair.
Nope. There it is. Red Sox.
He once had
I
a feud with
see
Randy
it.
Savage where they're like, the winner gets Miss Elizabeth, human trafficking style.
What? I gotta be honest.
Pretty
it's
cool.
so racist and so.
The old stuff.
Oh
yes.
yeah, and so sexist and so crazy. Like if you watch it, and I don't consider myself like a woke culture, just a little bit of an evolved person.
I consider you that.
But you watch and you're like, oh my god, that's
There he
brutal.
is with Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah.
Old school. Ric Flair, another one of his weird meetings was some guy just approached him. He's like, "Are you Ric Flair?" And he's like, "Yes." He's like, I have a plane. You need to be flying private. But it was a tiny plane.
Unbelievable.
It wasn't a jet.
Not private. I
It was
mean,
like
yeah,
a Cessna, like a little tiny plane.
that's private, but that's like a cab in the air. That's
yeah,
like,
it was not. The guy's
It's
like
like
a Vietnam vet, just guy looking to make. He goes, I'll charge you $100 each. You get
He
round up
starts
a crew of
having
guys.
Flashbacks.
What could go wrong? And they said the plane, because these guys were wrestlers, they were all big guys, was so overweight the guy was dumping fuel.
Well, I mean, it's really
offset.
smart to dump the fuel, to get rid of the fuel.
That's a Vietnam trick.
And not stop. Is that why they lost?
So mid-flight, one of the engines just goes out. Other engine out. Just start free falling.
When he said that's when we got to the point of no return.
Yeah,
and
it's something like, I'm like, what is that, an aviation term? What are you talking about?
But I think it is.
They're like, because one of the men was a wrestler, Johnny Valentine, he just started slapping the guy in the face.
Always funny.
What's that going to do?
Why? But it woke him up. Or
What do you mean wake him up?
not woke him up. The guy was going into shock. He was panicked. So
like-
I assumed from the way they said it, I'm assuming this guy went into panic
I think he's
mode.
like, if you're going to kill us, I'm going to go out slapping you in the face.
He was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he just slapped him.
And he's like, oh shit, we're crashing a plane.
Oh fuck! And but he was paralyzed.
That
for
guy
his life.
got paralyzed, yeah, Johnny Valentine.
The pilot died.
Ric Flair broke his back and had like his
Three different places.
had like his
Oy.
bowels like ripped out of his, I don't know, some sort of stomach problem too.
But the amazing, and why they didn't get into, and I mean, it was like vague. They painted over it. I don't know why, but like
Well, they just covered so much. So
Exactly.
They didn't really spend a lot of time on anything.
because they were talking about how he came back.
Yeah.
And he was like, I could just do sit-ups like this, and that was it.
And then all of a sudden they're like, and then he was back. You're like, wait, what?
I'm like, oh, so like just a couple sit-ups if you get in a plane crash.
He
and
says
you're up.
because he had surgery on his spine, and I've heard this before. He went from 6'2" to 6 foot tall. He
Yes.
lost two inches.
I believe that.
And then he said his dick went from 3 inches to 1.
Woo!
That's why he's on this Viagra.
Woo!
And he said he lost 100 pounds, which is kind of how I guess, if you want to lose weight, get in a quick plane crash.
Oh,
in a
that's
small
how
plane.
that's how the transition of his body. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. But they left that out. They didn't say that.
Then
But of course, you thought it because you have fatty issues.
I do. It quickly talked about how he was inspired by Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Kind
Right.
of took that. Joe Namath,
A
he
lot
said.
of his stuff was stolen.
Joe Namath, he took the.
He is like the Carlos Mencia of wrestling.
Well, then the woo he said was from
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, from Goodness Gracious, Great Balls of Fire.
Woo!
He stole that, and then Joe Namath is the swag because
Joe
everyone says Ric Flair invented swag. Namath was around before,
100%.
wearing those pantyhose,
I mean,
mink coats.
well, it was my brother Johnny's favorite player. So it was look at that coat. Anything we watch. My little
Remember him
sister,
slurring on ESPN to Susie Colbert? He's like, I'd like to kiss you.
My little sister, look how handsome he was. My little sister, not a giant sports fan, but she'll, watch here and there. She came to visit me. We saw Joe Namath in Beverly Hills. I mean, I've never seen her run that fast. I was like, bitch, are you getting in the car with him? She was like, it's Joe Namath. But it's my brother Johnny's fault because he made us watch every second of him. No, she did not. She did not. That's the only reason Johnny's a Jets fan.
Been drinking for several hours.
Here it is.
I believe everything that anyone else has watched Chad play impresses me. The same thing impresses them.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you.
Oh.
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Why would they keep the one you talked to him before the interview? You're like, he's in good shape to be talked to right now. And then they're like, keep talking to him. Keep asking him questions. He'll come out of this drunken stupor. Jesus.
Has he any charges against him?
He seems like he was at the Comedy Store as a server right there. How drunk he was. I could care less about
our new favorite waitress.
Yeah.
There was a very handsome gentleman came in last night.
Really?
That I knew, and I introduced her to, and she went, "Can I give you a pretzel?" And she put it. He went to take it out of her hand. She goes, "I do it."
Okay.
She put it in his mouth.
Is this
and
guy
I was
famous?
So happy. No, but he was quite confused. Aggressive women, always funny.
Namath arrested by Florida police.
For
This is old. This is from 1982.
making out with
Flair's like
unsuspected women.
Drunken driving.
Oh, okay. Do you?
He was
All
born
right.
Joe Naismith, and once he became Joe Namath is when he got all this swagger. And Ric Flair's like, I got to change my name.
He's another one. That's the ego drinking there. He was all ego.
I want to kiss
You got to be fucked up to get arrested for drunk driving in 1982.
Especially as a
Florida.
100%.
As a
And
huge
Florida?
celebrity.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah,
we got to
like,
do it.
Guys, we got to arrest you. So sorry.
And he said to the
mean,
cop, I want to kiss you. And he's like, now I know you're drunk because I'm a dude.
I know it was you.
And I'm not that good looking. In Ric Flair's number.
That girl, in his defense, that girl and the cop had the same haircut.
Yes.
So,
Flair's second life
yes.
is Forrest Gump. This story I didn't really follow this. He says he's getting off a plane, which it sounds like another small plane. Didn't learn his lesson. By the way, it didn't say if he was scared of flying after the accident. He still flew.
Right. They just let it slide.
Yeah, just like, so he gets off. He says it's raining. He has an umbrella.
He has an umbrella.
Says he's carrying the robe. He didn't have
This is where he
any
becomes
sort
an
of
accomplice.
any sort of suitcases.
to murder.
He said it was a crazy storm, and all of a sudden his umbrella just Mary Poppins.
And why does he have an umbrella and the other person doesn't? Were they both under?
We'll never know. We don't know who the other person is. It said it flew.
Yeah.
His umbrella flew 50 feet up in the air, according to him, which I think his story is maybe a little exaggerated.
No.
The umbrella acts as a lightning rod, literal. Gets struck by lightning. He claims it diverts the lightning, hits the guy right behind him in the eye, kills him. And Ric Flair's like, I just froze. He was embarrassed. He's like, I didn't know what to do. He just stood there
What
like,
would you do? I would probably shit my pants.
I'd take my phone out and be like, let's get this on TikTok.
I mean, that is one way to get followers. However,
That's what turned Flair's hair white. He
Is
didn't
it?
even dye it. Have you ever
after that, they didn't have to dye it anymore because it was just burnt
have you
out
seen Eastbound and Down?
a million times.
How great is Ashley Schaefer, Will Ferrell's character, who's pretty much Ric Flair, that beautiful blonde hair he has, the outfits, the aviator shades. Great character.
Selling cars and fighting. So good.
He's Ric Flair.
So good.
That's Richard
But
Fleer.
Definitely. Yeah. Glorious.
Look at this guy. It's like the exact hair.
My question, I wonder if they got in any kind of trouble for that. I doubt it because it's just,
No, it's just a
but
character.
it's so fucking funny. And I remember immediately seeing it and going, wow, if he had a boa on, this is it.
That's what he
This is
wears
it.
around his house, the
Yeah.
robes. Ric Flair claims one of those robes cost $20,000 as he
I believe him because when you get into costuming, I mean,
which we all have.
I
Who
know
hasn't?
firsthand. I don't do it, but Dice, his jackets, some of them.
And
were
that's just a jacket.
So expensive.
Imagine if it was a full-length robe. He should do full-length robes for the last part of his career. Does Dice know Ric Flair?
No, but that's what I was thinking because I was going to tease him, but he got mad at me for something else and hung up on me last night. So
Oh,
I
boy.
didn't tease him about this, but I was going to say, did you get your style from Ric Flair? To which I would have heard, who? Definitely he doesn't know who Ric Flair is.
That's a sad state of
It's
affairs.
the saddest thing in the world, but I can almost guarantee he has no idea who he is.
That's a sad state of affairs. If you know what I'm
Help!
saying. Ric Flair said he didn't want to wear the same thing on TV twice.
This I love.
And so he was
And this I
spending
believe.
just like thousands and thousands of dollars on suits.
It's a sickness. It's a sickness, and you get into it, and you're like,
Like people at home are like, wait a second, he had that tan suit on last week, and I saw him wear it 3 years later.
exactly. I'm like, people don't care. We always think
Did he-
people look at
did he
shit like
throw-
that.
Did he throw them away?
I don't know. What does Sarah Jessica Parker do with all her outfits? I only see her wear them once.
Why, you following
I'm
her
kidding.
that
I
closely?
don't. I was just thinking of Sex in the City because I was like, does she wear a new outfit I watched like 5 episodes and she was always different, always something more fashionable.
Yeah, but that's a TV show. It's
I
in the budget.
understand that, but like when he was sitting there, he was also on TV.
But this
He
is
was
out of
wrestling.
pocket. Yeah, but it's out of pocket.
100% out of pocket.
They don't have
He
wardrobe.
could write it off if he paid his taxes.
Yeah, that was the next thing. He's like, yeah, I
What?
wasn't paying
I
my
was gonna say,
taxes.
Tony Rock never wears the same thing on stage twice, and he has a person that you basically like rent the clothes.
Oh, I
He
like
admits
that.
that?
I like that though, and he
Yeah.
rents them.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But
like,
he means for big events, not like everyday spots.
not every single day,
Right.
but you know, but
so
he-
like a big event, especially if he's filming or
well, but it's also you can always be on trend because you don't buy something and wear it
Wow.
for a year.
Right,
So
right.
so whenever he goes pretty much anywhere, and he's going to be on stage, he'll have whatever like the hottest thing is now.
I like
and he has
that.
one person who buys. Yeah,
He's wearing Fabletic. Fabletics, whatever.
but so there are people who do that. There are people who like that's their job. is
Sure.
They
but
basically rent the stuff.
now, if
for
he
you.
was renting it, that would be amazing.
Yeah, he was wearing a lot of prom tuxes in that footage.
And like, when did it start? Like, they didn't say that. Like,
Yeah.
'cause the suits got more expensive. You can tell he started making more money.
Yeah, I
but
think
even
it-
when he wasn't making money, like, I'm an asshole, and you can Google my name and see me on 3 different TV shows with the same shirt.
Yeah, you're the
'Cause
anti.
I'm terrible.
You're the anti-Flair.
I'm the worst. I have no flare-ups. But it's like
You
that
said-
would
you
be
said
amazing.
You're wearing
thing.
right now clothes that are from your wrestling days.
100%. Wow, Women of Wrestling. This is me.
Is that signed?
That's me in the middle. No, I'm just kidding.
That's Jerry West, the NBA logo. He also did the Wow Women of Wrestling
No,
logo.
that's me. David used me as a. I was thinking about that too, like him learning, like him wrestling. I guess I'm jumping ahead. Maybe I'll wait because it was about Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, hold that
So, yeah,
thought.
hold
Speaking
that
of
thought.
cross-eyed.
Ooh.
Somebody, I don't know who's...
You try to take a lot of bumps, and not the fun ones that Argus does, the real ones.
Yeah, these guys were doing both kinds. Somebody said, I don't know who, that nothing compared to Flair's drinking. I don't know if that was Sinead O'Connor.
Nothing compared.
They said Barry
Flair's.
Windham, if you know wrestling, if you don't, it's irrelevant. He would wheel him in on baggage carts to
Yes.
his hotel room. He's like, sometimes naked, sometimes not. I'm like, sometimes naked? Leaving out a couple steps there.
It's a bunch of. You just
He's
skip like
picking
40
him up
steps.
naked.
But I believe, like, yeah.
You imagine walking down the
he
hallway
flies in or
to the ice
something.
machine at a hotel, and you're like, is that Ric Flair naked on a baggage cart being wheeled by another wrestler right now?
A guy who loves clothes so much is running around naked.
Well, that's why I didn't want to be seen in the clothes being wheeled in.
They'll
He's
recognize
like, take it
me.
off my body.
They'll recognize me.
He's like,
in this
take it
robe.
off. I'm ashamed. He also, did you notice that he would maniacally laugh in very odd places
Mm-hmm.
during this, where he would say something that like was highly inappropriate? Like crazy, like
Oh, that one. Yeah.
he said he would on TV. He would say one of his things was like, "Meet me at the Marriott penthouse," and he would give out his
Yes,
actual
the actual-
room.
And his wife was like, "Why?"
She's like, "Why do you keep saying it?" He's like, "Oh, the Marriott gives me money for it." And then she's like, "Why don't you wear
That's
your wedding
a
ring?"
tremendous lie, by the way. That's amazing.
She's like, "Why don't you wear your wedding ring?" He's like, "Oh, it's not part of my gimmick." And then he was like, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I commend him for that because that is a elaborate,
So you like that?
blatant lie. But he's doing it like right in front of her.
Yes. He
This-
also
this is
said
nothing-
about women. He said, "I have a disease. I love women," which Mitzi called.
Another
What did Mitzi
sex
call
addict.
it? Didn't she say like the affliction or something? When guys were poon hounds and couldn't stop.
No, I like this. The affliction.
No, she had something where it was like, this guy's got the affliction. Some term, I think.
I believe you. I don't remember it.
She didn't
though.
tell me that though.
She didn't tell me that either.
No.
So I want to know who said it.
Great quote here. I don't want to be Richard. It's like, well, okay. Then don't be. Did you find the part that?
I think he went way away from Richard.
Oh, he went as far away as he
far
could.
as you can go.
But he just went with Rick. You could have changed your name completely to something different.
He kept the R. He didn't want to stutter. You know?
Well, it's basically a nickname for
Right.
your given name. Did you notice? So that it skips.
Not RIC.
Skips to WCW. If you know wrestling, great. If you don't, whatever. Eric Bischoff's in charge. They cut Ric
Right.
Flair. They decided that he needed to get a haircut.
Ridiculous.
It like ruined his life.
By the way, cutting his hair, that's like Samson. Like, you can't do that.
But he claims cutting his hair like legitimately
I
ruined his
believe
life.
it. I believe
So
that.
he said, in quotes, "I didn't even know who I was anymore." And he's like, "I
And
walked
then
through
you
the
see him
airport.
walking in the airport
Nobody
with the
knew
short
me."
hair.
He said, "Nobody
It looked
knew
like
me."
Ellen. I was like,
Said-
is that Ellen? That's not Ric Flair.
They said Portia de Rossi fucked him, thinking it was Ellen. And it was because of his small penis. He said, "Through the airport, nobody knew me, and it killed me." The haircut is.
It is pretty bad.
Is he wearing makeup?
It's bad, yes.
They're like, also you have to wear eyeliner.
But it's also pretty bad. Why is the sock bugging me today? It's also Oh, it's so awful with the parts. Look at the different parts. He's trying to style it different to make it work.
And the texture is so off from the years of bleaching. It's like,
look at this swoop down here.
Yeah, look at that. That's vintage gorgeous.
Yeah, that belt is beauty. It makes his nipples look even bigger.
And it covers up the fact that he has no penis.
And no nipples, but it does make his nipples look nicer.
When his hair is short, it's almost like...
look at that little tiny nipple.
It's almost like a Henry Winkler style haircut. Is that what he asked for? Give me the latent career Fonzie.
See, I like when he does the side part. Then he goes back to looking like a predator in college.
Yeah, now he looks like he belongs like on the Duke basketball team at the end of the bench.
Right. But then this part is a little more bizarro.
I cut my hair. I didn't even know who I was. It's like you're the same guy with short hair, you idiot.
But his whole identity's gone.
Look at
that's your identity. Wasn't it Samson? You couldn't cut his hair? Is that what I'm thinking? The biblical?
Yeah, it was based on Ric Flair.
100%.
In the Bible.
You took it. You took all his power away from him.
His name was originally Samson.
If he can't go like this,
woo! Or to do like a flip.
Woo! Yeah. It's the whole thing. It's the whole appeal.
Guy went to the airport and they're like,
are you?
I thought you were. Are you the guy? And he's like, yes. I thought you were the guy who works at US Air. No. And
Do you know where my bags are?
He went into the bathroom and he almost killed himself.
Look at Nature Boy with the short hair right there, with the belt and the fuzzy robe.
That's where he takes his shoes off, and one of his promos.
Oh, down there, yeah.
I spent more money on still liquor.
Was that alligator shoes or something like that?
That was one. That's where he takes his shoes off and you see the athlete's foot.
Shut up.
By the way, when they show the Four Horsemen, his famous wrestling group, back then, no one was really required to be jacked. Like Arn Anderson was muscular. They had muscle, but none of them were like ripped.
But that was old school.
Yeah, they look like a guy's dad.
They look like him who coming in.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah,
like a big guy.
Like Arn Anderson looks like an 80s porn star. He wears like old Jewish man glasses.
Amazing.
Ole Anderson just looks like a rugged guy on the far left.
He wasn't in Smokey and the Bandit with those fucking glasses. How cute.
And then Tully Blanchard just looks like a regular white guy you see at the YMCA doing like lat pull downs.
Constant lats.
All white guys.
It was pretty all white back then. Except for what's his name?
Iron Sheik.
Ron Simmons.
True, Iron Sheik, but
Ron Simmons, Tony Atlas.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Tony Atlas. He was interviewed, wasn't he? No. Who was the?
No.
Was it Ron then?
A black fella?
Yeah.
In this one?
Yeah.
No.
There was two.
What were you keeping a black?
I was keeping a black count. I was kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't know.
No, but I was trying to remember from back then. Like, were there black?
Yeah, there were
wrestlers.
Definitely
a few,
not.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't prominent.
But Tony Atlas, he was the big guy, right?
Yeah, he's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
Ooh, Booker. That's why I knew him.
Booker T was interviewed.
Booker T. That's it. That's what I'm thinking of. Booker T. Okay.
You know who drove me crazy in this documentary being interviewed was that author guy.
Yeah,
he was so annoying.
And he was like,
he said he looked like a magician. He had long hair.
I thought he was Alice Cooper for a second.
He sounded kind of like Harvey Firestein. He's like, and then Rick was wrestling in Japan, and everybody loved it. Junkyard Dog. I mean, what's racist about making a black guy wear chains to the ring?
Listen, when I wrestled, we had a black girl named Slam Dunk, and she was a basketball
player. Oh, my God.
And she was awesome.
Hear me out. Your gimmick? Slam dunk.
She come in the ring with a ball under her arm, big basketball.
Look at Ron Simmons. He's got a bad titty due to steroid use. See that right
look
titty?
at that. Oof. That's a pulled
It's called like gynecomastia, I think.
That is scary looking though. Yeah.
That's what
But to me, like all wrestlers looked like that back in the day, and then Flair started bringing
the
Flair,
70s porno look,
if you will. So he technically did bring it. Well, I guess Randy Rhoads too, but Randy Rhoads wasn't even.
Who's Randy Rhoads? Dusty Rhodes?
I mean, Dusty Rhodes. Randy Rhoads. I went the other way.
Randy Rhoads, the guitar player.
Yeah, I'm playing guitar, but he did have big hair.
Is that Slam Dunk right there in the black and white? Were you in the black and white your photos when you were a wrestler?
Slam Dunk's amazing. I can't think of her name.
That was her. She legally changed to slam dunk.
So bad. And she's the sweetest lady.
She
in
had a
the
Dunkin'
entire
Donuts
world.
promo deal.
You'll see if Wow Women of Wrestling. There she is. So fucking
Famisha?
mean. Yeah.
Famisha
Jones Millman.
slam dunk.
And she was excellent. But I just, in my head, I was like, boy, this is racist. And like,
Is that Lisa Leslie?
one of our, no, but we did work at the Forum. We did train at the Forum. And Lisa Leslie was on the Sparks at that point, and Michael Cooper was their coach. And it was very exciting.
Wasn't her finishing move throwing the ball in your face as hard as she could, like Windy City Heat when they throw the ball at Perry? Is that true?
No. But our others were pretty racist. Like I was Easy Rider. We were biker chicks.
Yeah, who
white trash.
stole cigarettes when they. How was it? It was a stretch for you, right? Playing that sort of role.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was because.
Like, here's your motivation. You're the type of person.
See that one with Selena?
Yes.
So Selena.
I've seen this match. She's
Okay,
a big old.
Selena trained us, right?
Selena's the mullet. This
Yes.
is you ramming
She's
your.
the one I'm doing the Bronco Buster on.
Ramming your taint into a woman's
That's
tits.
the Bronco Buster. How dare you?
The woman you're wrestling looks like an American gladiator, but no muscle.
Here she is.
Selena.
But see, we're biker chicks. We're Harley's Angels.
Selena's got a beautiful lesbian mullet. Looks a lot like my high school chemistry teacher.
FYI, this match, Joe Rogan was there to see this with his girlfriend.
How'd they
and
like
now
it?
wife. Loved it. Loved it.
Isn't it true Joe Rogan hooked up with the lady with the mullet?
No, but he loved that we were going to send her to the hospital.
Look at that hair. Beautiful.
Look at my tattoo.
Look at Selena. Selena's holding.
Selena-
Selena's wearing fingerless gloves. Is this the precursor to you falling in love with Dice? You working with
Wait
this
a minute,
lady?
I'm not wearing fingerless gloves.
No, Selena is.
Oh, Selena.
Oh, you just
yeah.
got kicked in the breast.
But Selena, these two, no, Thug. That's Thug.
Oh, that's Thug.
That's Thug wearing fingerless gloves.
Another great name.
Two excellent, Selena Majors and Peggy Lee is her real name. They were excellent wrestlers and wrestled in Japan and trained all of us. This is my favorite right here because Selena loved how I would go over the ropes. She said it was her. She goes, Easy, did you hurt your hand? Why are you holding your hand?
So Selena's the American Gladiator woman?
Yes.
Okay.
And this whole match, we didn't, usually you, I don't know how to say it. You work it out.
In the ring. You call the match.
She was calling it in
Got
my
it.
ear, and I was brand new. And I had no idea what was coming. I had a hairline fracture in my collarbone from this match.
I think you were coming right here. Is your family more proud of your pro wrestling or your comedy?
I don't know which is funnier. I gotta be honest.
Neck and neck.
It is pretty
What's
neck
Joe
and
Rogan
neck.
like better?
They played this match recently on Joe Rogan with the what's that thing they do, the parks with Shane and Ari and Mark Norman.
Sober.
They go on it's
Sober
like
March?
Parks and Recs or something like that.
Parks and Fox? I don't know.
Something silly, but they go on and they were talking about this.
Yep. I went on a date with them.
We used a date? No, we didn't. That's not a date. I'll say it till I
Did you
die.
like how this documentary then ventured it? Because there's been other documentaries on Ric Flair, by the way. The 30 for 30 on ESPN.
The 30 for 30 is excellent.
And a lot of people online I
A
saw
lot more sayings in
didn't
that one.
like that Vice did a show called a series I think called Beyond the Ring maybe.
Yeah,
And it was about a flight Ric Flair was on, the flight from hell, where he basically
where they crashed
allegedly
because there was no gas.
No, he allegedly pinned a flight attendant up against the wall and was ramming his wang that was
I can't
out
see him doing that.
into her. It basically ruined this woman's life. Said she's really affected her over the years. And this one's like, what a great guy. And he's like, I love women. Like scumbag.
Give me that.
So a lot of people are like WWE really whitewashing
Of course.
his life.
Of
But then
course.
they go into his son, which has been talked about.
Yeah.
His son is a kid. Speaking of haircuts,
Excellent.
tremendous bowl cut.
Tremendous little bowl cut
His
there.
son looked like the My Buddy dolls. You remember those?
No, yes, but
My
I never
buddy.
had one, but I...
My buddy and me. There's the bowl cut right there with Uncle Arn, who looks like a pervert as
Amazing.
always.
I mean, that
Arn Anderson, bald at a young age, never shaved it. I appreciate that about him.
kept it.
Kept it bald.
Kept it like, I'll wait for it to all go out.
So his son, David Flair, wrestled in WCW and was terrible.
That's the older brother?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there's Reed Flair, who Rick clearly favored out of all of them.
100%. But he also was coming back to life and getting involved in
and he
his
had
family.
two young
His
kids.
Older
he
kids.
had more success, so he could say no more, I think.
Right. And like,
Ashley, who's now a wrestler in the WWE, is Charlotte.
And
then Reed is the youngest.
So those two, and then there's Megan and David are older.
How dare you? Megan.
I'm sorry,
Spelled
whatever.
Megan. You can't spell it Megan if your name is Megan.
Megan.
Yes.
And David are the older from, and
They're
that's when he was on the road building.
They're like, they didn't
Flair.
see him at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like never. And then
The younger ones had Christmases and stuff.
pretty much. But then when he was having trouble at the WCW, that he was like, I'm taking leave. And they
Yes.
said he didn't put in for it, but he swears he did.
Well, the oldest daughter's like, it ruined my life that you said you were coming to my basketball game and you never showed up. The youngest son, he's like, hey, I'm not going to show up to
We're
TV
going to
taping
Detroit.
because I got to see your wrestling tournament. So I was like, a little bit of a difference.
But do you think he did that because he didn't put in he didn't say I'm taking leave. He just fucking
No,
left.
he left. He claims he
100%.
did, yeah.
He's an alcoholic, so they believe a lot of things they don't do.
I disagree that he's not. I don't think he's an alcoholic.
What do you believe?
I think he just likes to party.
Like the Bushman.
All day and all
Bushman
night.
likes to party.
Rest in peace, Bushman.
R.I.P., buddy.
Somebody said, I think it was his daughter, Megan, said he felt he wasn't worthy. He was such a fragile ego and a fragile human. But, and I can't speak for my father, but I think when you start out adopted, there is an element of that. Because it is the ultimate rejection. Your life is starting out
Sure.
as someone doesn't, like, your
Gee,
parents don't want you.
I kind of.
So I think Ric Flair was constantly trying to prove, like, how, like, I am somebody.
Does your dad have that?
My dad was adopted at 2. So he was
it's
even
more developed a little.
He does not like. My dad has never liked issues where he feels out of control, and I think it stems from that.
100%.
So I think that Steve Jobs adopted. I think similar. Like I'm gonna go on to do Shaquille O'Neal, given a lot of.
But he was Rick was a baby,
and he was stolen.
They found him floating in a Nile in a basket.
They did.
Moses.
That's another biblical story starring Ric Flair.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I think that I was thinking that too. Like I bet, even though he was so not obviously a baby, but you feel that.
And I think that's like the core of his existence. Is like every day he feels like he's not good enough.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to...
And then he pretends and becomes Ric Flair.
Who wasn't adopted.
Versus
He was
Richard
loved by
Flair.
his parents.
He got a whole different storyline.
Did you notice that as obviously this went on, and this is
It's
obviously...
a very long one.
He's in great shape for his age now.
100%. Yeah.
But...
The $6,500 suit didn't help.
The sagging. He's really starts sagging late in the career.
Oh, it's
looks
tough.
like a leather trash bag filled with
It looks like
cottage
Brady
cheese.
last night.
Tits are down to his belly button.
Yeah,
Like
not
even his last
good.
up. Look at that, just leathery.
But by the way, okay.
Look at that.
I want to stay around for you being this age.
I'm not
definitely won't make it. But I will come back and haunt you. And
I
be
will
like,
be-
"Oh, look at those saggy tits.
I will be in a Speedo in front of the world to see.
Because you don't have the confidence of Ric Flair.
If I change my name, maybe.
Yeah, change your name. What would you change your name?
To Joff. And then I become a
Joffrey?
new character.
Look at that. He looks like Heat Miser.
He's melting. He's melting.
That is the Heat Miser right there.
Did you wear the knee pads on your shins? Because that's a wrestling thing.
No, I did not.
You wear them on your knees?
I didn't wear knee pads.
What?
I don't need
You wear
them.
them in your personal life.
My
Hi-oh!
knees are top of the line. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you
'Cause
know
I'm always
at the end of the doc, Ric Flair's like, I feel great. My back's great. My knees are great. And then he show him walking away and he could like barely walk. I was like, oh boy. Something doesn't add up there.
But when he said I had to buy a $6,500 suit just to sit here and talk to you, I was like,
And he's like, who does that? Ric Flair does that.
Ric Flair does do that.
It glossed over because it's been talked about the death of his son Reed at an overdose.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, Rick didn't
but,
call the cops because he thought he was just passed out, didn't know he was dying.
Seriously, that's one of my biggest fears. Like,
Is that your son's Ric Flair's son?
Right. No, that because, they tried everything, obviously, trying to help their son, trying to help him get clean, whatever. But somebody's parties like that, right? And then you're that close to them and they party like that and that this happens all the time. If he would have to live with that if all over his head every day, oh my God. I didn't talk to a friend who overdosed before he overdosed, and it still haunts me. So
but at
I
the
can't
same
imagine your
time,
own son, and you're right there.
Like Rick is bawling.
And you're like he's passed out. Like
he's bawling in this, like talking about it, even to this day. But like in clips later, he's like loving how much he drinks. I was like, it's an odd.
He has to drink. Though.
Very hypocritical though.
But that's what he said.
But he's celebrating that he drinks. He's like, oh, it's great.
Well, the guy said to him, "Why go back to the drink?"
He said, "Because I like it."
Right.
He goes, he's like, why do I play golf?
He can't live with these thoughts.
Yes.
Or any of them.
Well, and that's also why he hides behind this persona.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he doesn't want to deal with real feelings.
Then you take that boa off and he's just a nervous.
This is dark, but one of my favorite parts.
Little nippled man.
Is he visits his son's grave and he's wearing all the jewelry, like this bizarro suit.
The first thing I noticed.
I'm like, this guy can't even wear a real outfit to his son's grave. It reminded me, there's a great Dog the Bounty Hunter clip that I watched the episode back in the day. And he's like, I'm going to go visit my dad's grave. And he says how much his dad meant to him.
Right.
Leopard skin shirt, unbuttoned to like his belly button, all the dream catchers. And I'm like, even to the grave, this guy keeps it real. I like it.
Well, I mean, Rick doesn't go outside not dressed.
It just seemed odd to like the one circumstance.
What did you want him in? Did you want him in
like
shorts?
A nice blazer? I don't know.
Okay. Well, he doesn't do anything. I know. I'm just trying to think.
I wanted him in his wrestling outfit.
This is the outfit he wore to the grave? No.
Similar. I think Dog was inspired by Ric Flair. Look at that hair.
100%.
Look at the hair and leathery texture of his skin.
Now, who's in the middle of the O there in Dog the Bounty Hunter? Him?
Where? Right there?
Yeah, you see, like I have me in the middle.
Oh, that's baby Lisa is the middle. Leland is his 5'1" son, and then
wow,
Sean,
you gotta bring up his height like
Sean's
that.
his son from another marriage, and that's Big Titty Beth, who has since passed on. He's now remarried.
Big Titty Beth died?
Yeah, she died.
That's his wife?
Became too much to carry. He's remarried. Yeah, she was his wife.
I don't watch it. I remember her vaguely, but
those things must have been
those
exes.
If they're real, right?
Oh yeah.
Because if I got fake boobs, that's the size I'd get. 100%.
Oh, you'd go slam dunk size basketball.
Dunk. I'd have crutches under them, just lifting
she
one
has
at a
Ric
time.
Flair hair.
She does. They both.
Maybe they
both flared it out.
Maybe they met at the salon.
Flair has inspired a lot of people.
Look at Dog. He's 35 in that picture. So leathery.
Seeing Ric Flair in the Niners.
Well, now he's a public appearance guy. He just goes around to sporting events.
Yeah, just boosting people's egos when his own ego is not there.
That was another thing they glossed over. They threw it in at the end, but you could do a whole documentary about that. Is his like these new school hip hop artists do like songs about him. There's a song called Ric Flair Drip.
Oh yeah,
they're not art people. I like. I love hip hop, but it's not anyone that I.
But you don't like what's his name? I think he's good.
Who?
It's not coming to my.
Everyone now is like Lil something, Young something.
The one that was in the documentary with the face tats. What the fuck is his name?
Mike Tyson?
No,
because he was in it.
He was in it. The young kid he was with at the end. Oh my God, he's so good.
Young kid.
He's not a kid. I'm saying it like that.
Who are you talking? I don't know who you're talking.
It's gonna come up, and I'm gonna punch you when it.
But they also mention how like sports.
Post Malone.
Not like Post Malone. That's pop music.
Whatever. I'm saying. I like him.
He wears a cowboy hat.
I'm into country now. I don't know if it's menopause or what, but I'm in there.
Oh boy.
I know.
Yeah, Post Malone. Apparently they're like good friends. I was like, what?
When
Rick had his health scare, he's like,
he's not a rapper, right? But it's like he was like. He inspired me, and I'm like, how do you know him? But then
Post Malone's like, he's wearing rings and things. I was like, rings and things. You say so.
Yeah, Post Malone. I couldn't think of his name.
They talk about
He's
Ric.
not my favorite, but he's likable. I guess he's on a lot of stuff.
There he is, Danny
And he
McBride in the
somewhat
character.
looks like my godson.
That's Danny McBride and Will Ferrell on the set of Eastbound and Down. He looks like a clown or a mime in that shirt with the makeup.
Does. Yes, it really a sad clown.
Look at Flair with that. Look at that
Flair
face.
with that flair. He's
The Rolex.
got a hell of a smile. How many teeth do you think are real?
He's got a snaggle on the
He's
side.
got that snaggle's real, but what do you think of the rest of them?
I don't know. Let's call him.
It's got to be a lot of fakes in there.
Woo!
You knock him out like that. Yeah, he did the woo at the end, and I was like, oh boy.
He and Post Malone are playing beer pong. What are you, 18? Why are they playing beer pong? 2 adults. Right there.
Rick still likes to drink, so let's...
He showed up at the Comedy Store.
Yes, he did. I forgot I was
wearing
gonna
a
bring that up.
suit very similar to this.
I'm so angry I wasn't there
Comedian Annie Letterman.
because he had just gotten divorced.
She had walked off stage.
Yes.
And they took a picture, and if you look at one of his hands, it looks like he's like fingering her asshole. It is very handsy.
Annie would have been like,
And he
okay.
said to her, "I love women. I got a problem." And she's like,
I got a problem.
and she said, "Woo! Who has the better titties of those
Where's
two?
Todd?
Who's got the better titties, Annie versus Rick?"
Oh, good question. They both have like the same kind.
Both aren't big per se.
Well, one would be considered big and one wouldn't.
You said Annie is committed to come on the show. You said she's
She said she would.
verbal
She said she
commitment.
would. Verbal commitment.
We could ask.
Annie. We'll
Annie, are you okay?
Well, Annie, are you okay? We'll get a documentary.
Are you okay from Ric Flair handling you in the Comedy Store hallway?
We'll see if she has a doc to recommend, and then she can come on.
She's like, "They're making one about my life."
Leave my Annie alone. Leave my Annie alone. She's a twin. Her brother works for the Boston Celtics. How
He
dare
does.
you.
Her twin brother,
Twin brother. Yep.
Max. Look him up.
Yep.
Yahoo.
Letterman.
Should be legal.
So wait, do you have more on
What am
that?
I?
If you don't-
No, not really. But I like that he ends every call with to his daughter with a woo.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "All right, I'll see you later. I love you." Woo! She's like, "Okay, Dad."
Do you think he does it every
She's
time?
like, "I just see him as my dad." "Oh, really?" You don't see
How
him.
could you see him as anything other
It's your father.
than Ric Flair?
You don't see your dad as the typewriting magnate of Philadelphia.
I do. I see him only as that
Well,
typewriter.
because he wasn't around much.
I see his
You
dirty
see him
fingers.
as a businessman.
Only because he left. He wasn't as popular as Ric Flair, but he was the same
To
dad.
me,
He was
he's just
the same
dad.
dad.
Oh, really? Wow, that's deep.
He was never there. You'd think he was on the road all the time.
He was just my father. Wow. But he really is glommed onto her career to bring every bit of fame.
Of course.
And he claims he's never been prouder, but he's like, "Just keep bringing me around."
But he's prouder. Also, he's living vicariously.
Oh, of course.
And surviving.
Yes. He's addicted to fame as well.
Sure.
Sex.
He's an addict.
Booze
period.
and
Yeah.
fame and tanning and hair dyeing. What would how jarring it would be if this stage in his life he just went with it? Was he gray? What color is his hair at this point?
Oh yeah. What if he just let it go and it came in like purple? And they were like,
Just from all
with
the chemicals?
that flare and all the chemicals and the skin cancer. It just comes out.
I think the chains came with the rapping because he never wore gold chains his whole career.
it came later.
Now he's wearing like big. He wears a huge.
Yeah, but it's later. It's
big
like,
Jesus
it's
piece. It's like the new evolution.
distracting. Also, I had to bow my head. You saw that, right? Anyway,
Annie stole one of them while they were talking.
good girl, Annie.
She quickly undid
good
it.
girl.
She had her hand on his back, was undoing the
You want to
clasp.
touch my ass? But I'm saying like it's distracting. It's like more glitter to look at. Like, hey, don't look at me. I'm melting. But
Wonder
look
if
at
he
these.
felt Annie's balls underneath.
Wow, you're gonna do her like that?
No,
Okay.
she has meditation balls in her back pocket.
Does. She says she has little Asian balls.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know
Lawrence
that.
Fishburne from Boys in the Hood, where he's constantly doing the stress balls. Give
yeah,
me
maybe.
the motherfucking gun tray. Would you recommend this to other people? People out there.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say watch the 30 for 30.
Yeah, this one didn't cover much new. Very long.
Very long. Also,
Very meandering. It didn't focus on really any
Exactly.
one thing. Like, he could have focused on his 9 lives. You could have focused on the hip hop and sports stuff. Like,
Right.
It just didn't. It was just all over the place.
Yeah, the non-being a
And
father.
I didn't need a play-by-play of his career. It's like, I don't.
Right, and I
It's like,
think
and then he was in the Royal Rumble.
part of me thinks they did it just to like give him money so he
Yeah.
can survive. Because
Did you like that he
Vince
had-
McMahon's not going to pay.
Did you
him.
like his young business partner who had a Jewish last name? I'm a Jew, by the way. I can say that.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I'm
What
his
was
business
his-
partner.
I remember that, but I can't see his name.
It was like, I don't know, like something like
Oh, okay.
Rothstein or
Okay.
something like that.
I was
And he's
gonna
like,
s-
Rick's one of the best marketing people
Yes.
I've ever seen.
I was like, whoa.
But he's failed a lot of. They didn't talk about this. He did a
But
lot of failed.
Still, I'm sure he's had a ton of failed stuff, but he is a marketing machine.
He's on Cameo.
Meaning
we should have him call in.
his business partner can market him in a million different directions.
I'm gonna have him do a Cameo call.
Just
for
leave
you.
Rick out of it. Look at that suit.
You should get on OnlyFans.
Where is that? I hope he's at the Sixers game tonight for no reason.
He's sitting next
This
to
is
you.
the 30 for 30. Yeah. It's excellent. That one. But there's been like so many others. That's
Yeah.
why. This one was just like, I really do think it was like, oh, I need the money.
Yeah, just
Or-
felt out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, didn't cover anything.
It was vague. And it's called Woo, like
Yeah, this
all right.
wasn't much.
Watching him watch the footage of his fight with Shawn Michaels.
That was weird because he was doing a weird face when he was watching.
He was like,
that he was bawling when he was watching Shawn
oh
Michaels.
yeah, it's Shawn Michaels saying to him, "I love you. I'm
like,
sorry."
sorry.
That stuff. There was something I was going to say about Shawn Michaels, and I can't remember what it was. Other than my nephew has that name, Shawn Michael.
Shawn Michael Kerrigan.
No, Shawn Michael Forrester.
Shout out to SMF.
SMF. Silly motherfucker.
Who was the better wrestler, you or Ric Flair?
I'm gonna say me
A lot of people do say that.
because I'm a narcissist too, Rick. Take that.
Did you have the same problem that
My
once
Flair
you
was
got into,
camel toe.
when you got into Easy
So-
Rider, you went too deep into character?
I did go deep. I will say this. I did get excited and I did go deep into character and I would flip around, and that's why I would get bonuses all the time. Like you think of pay and stuff, I would get bonuses all the time because our portions were liked the most online, like that kind of thing. Like people would write in and vote us all the time because Harley's Angels and Cage T, which is another kind of racist, to a black girl and a Puerto Rican girl break out of prison to wrestle us. So, whoopsie. That's why I always say Mitzi Shore could have been a great wrestling manager.
She more or less, comedy and wrestling are very not that far off.
We're gonna do Arabian Nights, okay?
You're
like,
gonna become Dice Clay.
Maz Jobrani will wear the turban, okay? A night of 1,000 Guidos, but we only have like 10 of them.
He has the affliction.
It's crazy. But she would do shit like that, make you dress in costume to be stereotypical to a race,
Yeah.
or whatever. So Maz fought her tooth and nail. But anyway, I'm just saying, so I would do that, but I was in character so hard and I was running down the ramp. I remember this, and I love to just sell it if somebody was hitting me. So I remember getting hit by one of the girls from Cage T. I think it was Jawandis, I'm not sure. She hit me and I went up in the air, and I was so proud of myself how high I jumped. And when I came down, taking a bump, and I hit Pyro and it cut my head open. And the next 3 matches I had just matted blood.
Pyro a person, or are we talking about pyrotechnics?
Pyrotechnics.
These names I can't
Pyro
tell.
person. Who would Pyro the person be? What do you think? What
Somebody
nationality?
with tits on fire.
Somebody just
A redhead.
Pyro.
You know what this
redhead.
documentary should have been? Like, I want to see his real current life.
Okay.
So wake up at 10 a.m. where he said he starts. I want to see the drinking
The
all
whole day.
Yeah. I want to see him hammered at
Yeah.
home.
Oh, we got it. All right.
And then he goes home and he says, give me 2 claps to the Ric Flair.
Two claps at a Ric Flair.
All those sports teams. We should get to our clip.
Let's do it.
Close it out.
Let's close it out with the clip. What's the clip?
The
So
sh-
you don't recommend it either?
No, not
Okay.
great.
Okay.
There's better stuff
Just
out
making
there.
sure.
Yeah.
What is this clip now? Are you going to
This
give me
is
a
the clip.
Because
The
this is
clip-
like a surprise party for me.
Yeah,
It's
and
not fair.
this should be a documentary. Here we go. It's the Iowa husband calling competition.
There I am.
Honey, get yourself in here. Woo! Terry, come on, let's go. You don't come here right now. We're late.
That's a good one.
Stan! Chris called. The cattle are out.
Ugh.
You gotta go help him find the cattle.
What the fuck is happening, Jeff?
Whoa.
Is this real? Oh,
Jared!
that's a murder-suicide.
Get over here! Will you help me with the baby? Jared! Randy! Randy!
Is this getting you hard?
That lady just came.
I have dinner ready for you! Randy!
These poor husbands.
God, Randy is swallowing every pill he can get his hand on.
That's the I love obscure, like that's I would love to see what these ladies are all about.
So they already have husbands, or this is how they get them?
No, that's how they have them. That's how they call them. Get over here right now. I like the lady who was like
We
that lady.
We got to do a South Philly version of this.
She may be my favorite. That lady.
Yeah, she's long-winded.
Like,
she's got a whole story.
Stan,
Stan, hey, you have to come and help with that cattle.
Stan, I'm topless.
Stan, my number is 222.
Stan's like, I'd rather be fucking these cows.
Well, I would not get a husband.
What's the South Philly version of this?
Just
like
it
a
would
gun,
be,
gunshot.
Mario, get in here.
There's water.
Mario!
There's water ice.
Too far. Mario, get the water ice. Get in here with the water ice. Sorry,
win.
is that too loud?
You'd win for that.
I'm going to get a husband. Hopefully not a Mario.
Yeah, if you get a husband, you can enter this, I think, as of now. With you.
You know what? Let's just wrap it up, Jeff. What a dick. God damn.
What
That
a good
is
note to end it on.
evil.
We need to get a true crime doc.
Okay.
We gotta get our
we'll
footing.
do it. All right. Did they do it? Did they not? Okay.
No, but that's, I mean, so far we have two sports based.
I'm kidding.
We have two sports
Oh, yeah, I
based.
guess you're right. It's just what I like.
We'll end on
Wrestling.
this. Better Life, Stallone versus Flair. That's our first two.
Ooh, okay.
I say Stallone by 8 million.
Stallone. I'll always pick Stallone. Sorry, Rick. I'll always pick Stallone.
They're very similar, though, if you think about it.
No,
They're both trying to, like,
absolutely not.
maintain into
Absolutely
their
don't
70s,
even
both
think
senior
about it.
citizens.
Don't do it.
It's-
Don't do it.
Do you agree, Rob?
Wrap it up.
Rob agrees.
I agree.
Thank you.
I think that they're very similar, but I think
All
Stallone
right,
wins
this
by
is
a
man
country mile.
against-
Thank you.
Man against
Sylvester! Sly!
Sly, get in here!
Come on home!
Woo! Rocky!
Rick! Richard Flair!
That one works better.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you.